Good day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be discussing setting up your project for virtual reality within Unity. This series I will be focusing on functionality of virtual reality, basic scripts and more advanced things to create in Unity with virtual reality. Let's get started. So what we'll be covering today is just basically setting up your project, setting up the packages, setting up a basic scene, basic character controller, and then at the end of this episode I will just show you how to basically pick up a cube in virtual reality so you can test to make sure everything is functional. The hardware that I'm be using is my Oculus Quest 2 with the Oculus Link. I'll also be using Unity 2020.2.0 F1. You can use any Unity between 2019 and up. This would work perfectly fine with those versions as well. So there are three main plugins that you can use to connect your virtual reality headset to Unity and also be doing creating games for virtual reality. There's a lot more, but these are the three main ones that's the most popular, and each one of them have their upsides and downsides. In Oculus integration, it was created with by Oculus for Unity. It's a good plugin if you're not gonna make any other games except for the Quest 2 or any of the Oculus platforms. Steam VR was created by Valve for the Valve Index and all the Valve hardware. It's also integrated into Steam and Steam VR, so if you are planning on publishing your games on Steam, I would recommend using Steam VR plugins. So one thing that you should realize before we go to XR is when you use Oculus, the Oculus integration software, there is support for Steam VR headsets like with Valve Index, but you're also limited in the amount of support there is for any hardware that doesn't use the Oculus platform. Same goes for the Steam VR. There is support for the Oculus hardware, but it's also limited. What we're going to be using is XR. XR is virtual reality, augmented reality, and motion reality. I think, yeah, motion MR, motion reality, and basically it's mostly used in VR and MR. I haven't seen any big applications using the MR, so I won't be able to provide you with any details surrounding it. But Oculus has brought out one of their features where you can bring MR into VR. Basically MR is just using, instead of controllers, using your hands, and that was one of the updates on the Oculus Quest 2, and I think it's also on the Oculus Quest 1. Why are we using XR instead of the Oculus or the Steam VR plugins? Is because with Oculus integration, yes, you have a lot of support for Oculus hardware, and yes, there's a lot of scripts pre-made for the game engine and also for the interactables, but at the same time it's mostly just for Oculus. Same side on Steam VR, there's a lot of support for its hardware, and a lot of interactable scripts already made and resources, but at the end of the day it's mostly just for the Steam VR hardware. On the other hand, XR is made for the Steam and Oculus. It's integrated in both of them, so you can use it for the Oculus hardware and the Steam hardware. It doesn't really matter. Another big reason why we're using XR is because the XR is bare bone, meaning there's not a lot of scripts involved or any big amount of assets or anything like that what you would be getting out of the Oculus and the Steam VR plugins. The Oculus side, there's a lot of preset scenes and a lot of things you can play around with, and same goes for Steam VR plugin. So that's why we're going to be using XR, because we would be able to create a lot of things without really running into multiple scripts running over each other. So let's get started by opening our Unity. So the first thing you'll realize, I already got packages open for Oculus, Steam and XR. I'm not going to showcase any of them because that was just testing. So we will be creating a brand new project by going down to the drop down and selecting the version that we're going to be using, and you're just going to take it to the location is just where you're going to save it. The name is going to be XR test, and what we're going to be using is the universal render pipeline. Why is because it suits the type of art style I'm going to be using, and also the preset settings and mechanics that is already in the universal render pipeline. If you're making high definition games, like realistic games, I would definitely say go with the high definition render pipeline. The XR plugin works with both of these platforms and also the basic 3D presets. So we're just gonna go and create. So now that our package has, our editor has finished loading, first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to go to scenes and we're going to create a new scene. We're going to make it 3D, built in, and we're going to save a scene inside scenes. And I'm just going to call it test. So once you have done that, you're going to delete the camera and you're going to go to Window, Package Manager, and wait for that to load. Then you're going to go to the gear that's up here. I'm going to say Advanced Project Settings. You're going to enable Preview Packages, I understand, and show dependencies. I like to always see what I need in the project so I know what would be imported. Then from there you're gonna have two window. You're gonna go back to package manager, and at top you're gonna press on the second panel that says packages in project. Click on it. Gonna say Unity registry words, and you're going to go all the way down to the XR interactable toolkit. If you do not see the XR interactable toolkit, you would be seeing two numbers here where this reloading button is. Just click on the last number, go all the way down and you would see the XR interactable toolkit. So dependencies, it will only show what you have in your project and what you need in your project. So we're gonna go and install. After that has finished installing, you're gonna also be needing the XR plugin manager. As you can see, it would install another subsystem that you're gonna be needing. Just press on install. Okay, after that has finished installed, you are basically set. That's the only packages you're gonna be needing just for the basic interaction of Unity and VR. So after you've done that, you're gonna go to File, Build Settings. If you're gonna be building out to the Oculus Quest, you're gonna have to switch your platforms to the Android platform. But if you're gonna be doing it to the Vive or any of the PC hardware, you can just keep it at the PC, Mac and Linux. Then you're gonna go to player settings and you're gonna go all the way down to the bottom where it says XR plugin manager. After that, you're just gonna have to you have to check the platform that you'll be using for testing. I am using an Oculus product, so I'm just gonna activate for Oculus, and it will throw out this window. So it will quickly get all the packages that's needed. Okay, after that you are done with all the settings. So the next thing that you want to do is just quickly set up a basic scene. I'm gonna bring in a plane, go to inspector, zero it out, and then I'm gonna quickly create a normal character. So to create your player character that will actually be used by the player, you're gonna press on the plus or right click in the hierarchy, and you're gonna go all the way down to XR, device based, and you would see there are two rigs that is in this location that is accessible to you. One is room scale rigs and one is stationary rig. The room scale rig is 6 degrees of freedom and the stationary is 3 degrees of freedom. This would be used for Google Glass or 360 degrees video, stuff like that. This would be used mostly in games. I haven't seen a game that will actually use stationary, except if your player really doesn't move anywhere and you're not going to be teleporting or moving your character around. Then you can also be using the 3 degrees of freedom. It only affects the movement of the player, that's all. So we're gonna do room scaling because I'm using the Oculus, and I'm gonna be zeroing out, and that's basically done for setting up your player. The next thing I'm also be doing is I'm gonna bring in a cube, and I'm just gonna leave it as cube. I'm gonna zero it out, and I'm gonna change its scale to 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Going to bring it a bit out, a bit up, so it's not inside the floor. And for one component that I'm just going to be adding here is a script that already exists with the XR plugin that we installed, and that is the XR Grab interactable. And it will add a rigid body and then just the script. And this would cover just grabbing the object. So let's quickly test this. Now, before you actually press on play, you have to remember to open up the software that you'll be using to connect to your VR system. Because I'm using the Oculus Quest, I will be using Oculus, but if you're using any of the Steam hardware, you would open the Steam VR program, so it would be able to check if the device is fully connected and all the hands are fully connected. So let me just quickly grab my Oculus here. And my cat is on all the cables for the Oculus. Come on, move it, move it. Okay, got my Oculus here. Give me a quick second. And I just quickly made sure that the link was activated. Then just gonna go back to Unity and press on play, and it will open up in Oculus. And as you can see, my basic world and the basic cube that we created. And if I grab it, it's in my hand, and let go, grab, let go, grab, let go, and you'll see basic gravity is implemented when you throw it. Okay, put my Oculus down again, and go back to edit. So that is the basics of virtual reality setup. In the next video we'll go into setting up the hands for VR, your basic VR hands, and I think we'll also be covering animation for the hands, how to do the coding surrounding that. If you enjoyed the video and you thought it was educational, please remember to subscribe and also like the video just to help my analytics. And I'll see you guys in the next video.